Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 7 of your senior project. This week, you'll be turning in the preliminary pages, the PowerPoint slides for your oral presentation, and then the revised slides at the end of the week, and then also your references. These are all due by 11:59 on Saturday night. Except that, of course, I'll need your PowerPoint presentation slides, the first full draft, completed draft, before you do your oral presentations. So let's talk about what you're going to be doing in week 7. Of course, the first night, at the beginning of the week, you will be giving your oral presentations. Please do refer to the course outline with the schedule and see when that live session is scheduled. Okay, but let's talk about the written assignments you're turning in this week. So first of all, you're going to be turning in your preliminary pages. And some of those are on preliminary pages on this list are optional, but whatever you turn in, if you just go for the ones that are required, if you go for the ones that are, or if you add any of the optional, this is the order in which they always need to be in. Okay, you've got your cover page, that's your title page. Then you go, if you're going to do a copyright, you include a copyright page, then the dedication page, which is optional, then the acknowledgments, which is optional. Then you have to have your table of content. So mandatory, you have to have your title page and table of content and your abstract. Okay, those all have to come beforehand. Now, some of these others, it's optional or it's only if appropriate. You have a list of tables if you have one or more tables. List of illustrations if you have one or more charts, graphs, or figures. A list of symbols if you have, if that's appropriate to your topic. For instance, if your topic is gang symbols or it's something like that, you need to have a list of symbols as well. Then you would have your preface, that's optional, and then you would have your abstract. Okay, so this is the order in which all of these pages go into APA style. They all are part of the paper, the Word doc, before chapter 1 starts. Okay, these come before chapter 1. All right. So here's a quickie look of what's absolutely mandatory is your cover page or your title page, your abstract, or excuse me, I'm sorry, your table of content. Whoops. And that's just a pull out from a table of content. You can see it only goes to chapter 2, but just to give you a sample. Your abstract, which should be about 350 words and should include a very brief description of the research question, a brief description of the methodology, major findings, and major conclusions. Okay, just really quick summary. You need to also have keywords under it. Okay, use the APA template in your course resources to help you. All right, and you can find lots of samples of APA style abstracts online. Just make sure that you don't forget the keywords. Okay. Don't forget that there are several kinds of optional pages you can include if you want to. That's the copyright, dedication, acknowledges, and preface. Okay. Again, if you have any of these items, then you have to include them in your preliminary pages. If you have a table, you need a list of tables. Illustrations, you need a list of illustrations. If you have any figures, even one, you have to have a list of figures. If you have even one symbol, you have to have a list of symbols. Okay? Then after, okay, your preliminary pages, that's one assignment turned in on one Word doc. On a separate Word doc, turn in your references. Okay, that's what comes after the body of your paper. After chapter 5 is completed, you have your references. All right, and that is an APA style. You want to make sure it's a one-to-one correspondence between citations and references. So in other words, you want to make sure the reader can easily spot which citation in the body of your paper goes with which reference. Okay? The third thing you're going to be turning in that's written is your oral presentation PowerPoint slides, okay? But you're going to be turning those in a preliminary copy of those. You will email to me so that I can string them together for your presentations on presentation night. Now, if there are any edits to be made, you'll find that in the feedback in the gradebook, and then you can make those edits and you can turn in your final copy of your PowerPoint slides. If there are no edits, then once you submit it to the gradebook, you're done, okay? But you want to make sure that you have about 8 to 12 slides that adequately describe your senior project, okay? So develop a PowerPoint presentation as if you were going to present it to the class, which you are, okay? But just keep that in mind that this, you know, even if you turn it in afterwards with revisions, keep those slides because maybe someday you will be presenting this. You don't know. But this is a good thing to hold on to, okay? Because you want to make sure you can share your research, whatever scientific research you're doing. You want up to about 8 to 12 slides. You don't need any more, okay? These should give highlights of what you'll cover, not be a text of your presentation. They should be very simple, okay? Use bullet points to highlight main ideas, and your presentation should be no more than 10 minutes, okay? So just to make sure you understand, you're turning in your PowerPoint presentation before presentation night so that those are queued up and ready to go for you when you give your oral presentation. Then if there are any edits to be made, you turn in another revised version of your presentation slides, not the whole presentation, just the PowerPoint slides, by the end of the week on Saturday night, okay? And again, the presentation itself should be no more than 10 minutes. Now again, 8 to 12 slides. What do you include on those? You know, much more importance is probably what you shouldn't include. You don't include the material from chapter 2, and you include almost very, very little of the chapter 3 material. Okay, so you want to tell, what do you want to tell people? You want to tell them your research question, your research problem. You want to tell them your hypotheses. Okay, you want to tell them very simply the methodology if it's important to your research. You don't even need to do that because again, that's chapter 3 and you don't want to go into nauseating detail of other people's studies. Okay, you can just give a quick one. This study found this result. You know, it asked this question and found this result. This study asked this question and found this result. You can just give a very brief, quickie bullet points. What did you glean from chapter 3? Then you will have a slide that gives your results and analysis of your findings to you. You know, what did when you tested your hypothesis, what was the result? Okay. Now, chapter 5 plays a very large part in your oral presentation because once you present what is your research question and what were your hypotheses and what were the results of testing those hypotheses in chapter 4, then the oral presentation includes all 3 sections of your 5th chapter. It includes your quick discussion. You want to include your conclusions, and then you want to include your recommendations. And again, keep this short, sweet, and to the point. Okay? If you have any questions about what is due this week in week 7, please post your questions on the virtual office or email me. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a really wonderful week. Thank you so much. Have a good day.